The TSI, it stands for Transformative Studies Institute, first and foremost, and basically it's an attempt by me and a group of directors. John Asimakopoulos actually kind of started the idea, and the idea is to try and combine scholarly work with activism. So it's a bunch of us folks who ended up being involved in the academy and doing scholarly work in one way or another, but having actually much more interest in changing the world than producing knowledge for the disinterested knowledge factory. So we started TSI so that we'd have a place to kind of combine scholarship with activism. We're trying to put together a free graduate school so that we can offer free graduate educations to poor and working class kids, which is incredibly important to me, as well as the other directors. We have a journal, Theory in Action, which is a peer-reviewed scholarly journal that focuses in on, again, work that's dedicated to social justice, um, as well as, a staff that's built. I think the best way to get a hold of us is through the TSI website. Just go to transformativestudies.org and find the email address of one of the directors. John's a good person to get a hold of. If you want to work with the Sacco and Vanzetti Foundation, get a hold of Anthony. If you want to work with Political Media Review, get a hold of Sarat. If you want to get involved in transformative radio, you could get a hold of me. And really you could get a hold of any of the directors at this point and say, hey, look, I want to be able to help because I think that what you're doing is important, and I think, more importantly, that it's relevant. If we have a space for somebody helping us out, which at this point we have many of those, then we're going to be receptive to that, and we could definitely use the help. Building a radio station, Transformative Radio, which is actually what I'm in charge of right now. There's a foundation, the Sacco and Vanzetti's Foundation, that Anthony Nocella and Sarat Kohling have kind of headed up with William Armeline to, be able to give grants to folks who are doing social justice-oriented work, specifically work on, labor and kind of, anarchist-oriented work. The Political Media Review, which is basically a reviewing house of scholars and activists who read and watch, various social justice-oriented media, and then do reviews of it and put it up on this website, which has been ran energetically by Sarat Kohling, and a number of other projects. Basically, it's a clearinghouse for us to try and combine our interest in social justice with our scholarly work, so that we don't end up, in a I guess a scholar's ghetto, and we actually do things that end up meaning something in terms of how we interact with our world. Personally, my own plans with TSI is to try and recruit more people and get more people involved. So I think that those things are kind of combined. First and foremost, what I'd like to see happen with TSI is for us to be able to get a physical space so that we actually have a space to house the Institute, and we can start offering, graduate degrees. And luckily, we have John Asimakopoulos, who's a fantastic organizer. He's a good networker, and we've got folks working on trying to get grant money right now so that we can get this space and house the school somewhere. And I think that that's probably the foremost kind of project for all of the directors that are involved right now is trying to get this physical space and trying to get this graduate school off of the ground, so that we can actually have a physical space for doing this stuff. But for TSI in general, I mean, ideally, if TSI did what it had set out to do, it would mean that we would be intervening in issue and policy-oriented, things, so that we can see that we actually help bring material gains for working class people, for women, for people of color, for people with queer sexual practices. It runs the gamut in social issues as well. We have people involved in the Institute that are dedicated to environmental justice, to animal advocacy. Like I said, it's a clearinghouse for a number of different perspectives, and is actually not a narrow sectarian group. We're not based in Marxist thought. We're not based in anarchist thought. We're not based in feminism or queer theory. We're based in social justice, period, and very, very broadly so. So, my advice for people who might like to get involved in something like that is to get a hold of us. If you're working on an issue that is based in social justice and in activism, and specifically if you do scholarly work, then you have a space and you have a place here. If you make that effort and get a hold of it. I think the best way to get a hold of us is through the TSI website. Just go to transformativestudies.org and find the email address of one of the directors. John's a good person to get a hold of. If you want to work with the Sacco and Vanzetti Foundation, get a hold of Anthony. If you want to work with Political Media Review, get a hold of Sarat. If you want to get involved in transformative radio, you could get a hold of me. And really you could get a hold of any of the directors at this point and say, hey, look, I want to be able to help because I think that what you're doing is important, and I think, more importantly, that it's relevant. If we have a space for somebody helping us out, which at this point we have many of those, then we're going to be receptive to that, and we could definitely use the help.